All right, it's Shalom, Shalom, it's Brother Mausa.
Shalom, your brother Shalom.
All right, and we coming back for the long overdue part 2 of Remember Joseph. Right now, or when you remember when you left off, because we was going in on that last video, we just had to kind of cut it short for sake of time. But I'm gonna get this one precept and then I'm gonna pass it right to the brother. You can start where you left off. All right, so let's get one of the best books in the Bible, the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 10. Right, it says, "Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?" Right? So these are all rhetorical questions. It's rhetorical. You can't find nobody. And Joseph is a living embodiment of that entire verse in Sirach chapter 2, verse 10. So I'm going to let the brother get in there.
Khan, that's right. All praise to the Most High, Shalom. Yeah, it's been long overdue, man. We'll be back to it through the Spirit. Most High willing, brothers and sisters enduring, keeping the faith, man. Right, so we was going into Joseph. And Most High willing, we can go into all Almighty forefathers and the situations they've been in and break it down through the Spirit. So we left off at was Genesis 37, 18, when his brothers conspired against him, planning to overthrow him, and like this is gonna happen in the last days, right? Let's get this precept. Because it's not just gonna be Esau. I'm pretty sure I said that last video, but we're gonna say it again. You're always gonna hear this. It's not just gonna be Esau that's gonna slay you. It's gonna have crafty counsel. It's your brother. I mean, who the law was given to? It's Israel. Everything that you deal with in the law on how to deal with your brother and your sister is literally to the Israelites. All when it speaks about stealing and covetousness and being sneaky, and hey, that was all given to Israel because the Lord knows his children, right? It's Matthew 24. The Lord knows the spirits he created. It's Matthew 24, verse 12. It says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." Right? So the love of many will wax cold, very cold in these last days. You see it increasing day by day. Women killing their kids, men killing their women and kids. It's a lot going on. Women putting their kids in ovens. Got brothers still back doing. Yes, these are the curses. But when the elect is sealed and the Lord has these prophecies to go on, seditions of man and things that matter in the famines, best believe you're going to see this happen on another level. Right? So we go to Genesis 37, verse 18. It says, "When they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh." Right? And just like any other Jake, he jealous of the brother. He may get bars and he come up like, "Here come this rapping ass nigga." You know what I'm saying? Here come this rapping ass nigga. They upset about that. Envying. They didn't know what the dream mean. Joseph was coming to him sincerely, telling him the dream because he didn't really know what it was. His Israel, Jacob didn't know what our forefather, he didn't know what it was. But they was already jealous of him because how their father loved Joseph so much. And he gave him a gift on top of that. Reading on, it says, "Come now therefore and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams." See that? So they was willing to slay him and then lie and say a beast killed him. And they not even thinking about their father, how he's gonna be. You know, they not even thinking about what is your channel about.
Somebody said that this popped up in the algorithm, but then she said this right after. So, hey, all praises, you know. Hey, tune in, cause we gonna be on here for like an hour or something. So stay tuned. But you gotta.
Come on, all praise to the Most High. Right? It's about Joseph, your forefather Joseph, right? His own brothers, the 11 tribes, right, was going against him. Really 10. Benjamin was the babe, right? They was going against him, you know, literally saying, hey, let's slay him and say the beast killed him. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm sick of this dude. You know, that's madness. They're not even thinking about their father. They're not thinking about Jacob. They're not even like wondering, like, oh man, he loved him so much. We can't do that. You know, they're not thinking of these things. It's just that hatred, you know, that wrath, that envy that they have, the jealousy that they have is raging. And they trying to quench it, right? They trying to quench that fire. Let's go to that. Let's go to Sirach chapter 23, right? Sirach chapter 23. Sirach chapter 23. It's Sirach chapter 23, verse 16. It says, two sorts of men multiply sin, and a third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. His brothers had a hot mind. When a brother is willing to hurt you, or a sister is willing to hurt you, to get over you, their heart, their mind is burning on the left hand side. They willing to do whatever to overthrow you. Whatever it is, you can name it. It says the third will bring wrath, a hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. And that was the spirit, you know, of Israel. It would never be quenched until it be consumed. So they can have a crafty counsel, seeing what they can do to Joseph, man. That's evil, right? And why we bringing this out? Due to the sister that just came on, you know, and people who just hopping on. Hey, this is about the story of Joseph and how he moved through the spirit, and that we need to apply it in our life, you know, on a day-to-day basis, right? I don't know, but Ak, if you got something, you could bring it out to the spirit.
I wanted to get something. I brought it out last week, but I wanted to make sure I reiterate. Here it is. 1 John chapter 3 and verse number 14. It says, we know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren. So one of the ways you know that you love your brethren, or one of the ways you know that you pass from death unto life, you're not living in a way of death, you live in a way of life, is by loving your brother. I'm going to keep reading. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. So think about that. The original other 11 progenitors of the 12 tribes was abiding in death in this moment, in time that we read about. Right? The original, like not a Judite. We talking about Judah, like the first one. You know, not what a Asherite, not an Issacharite. No, Issachar, Asher, you know? So I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 15 is the point. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. So how about that, right? Even in the Bible, the progenitors of the 12 tribes fell into this trap of hating their own brothers. And this is like they blood, bro. Like the brother said, they wouldn't think about their dad. This is like they got the same daddy, the same physical one. Like if they was alive today, they'd be telling all of them, "Oh, you act like your daddy." You know what I'm saying? That's what they'd be telling them. Now imagine if you had kids and one of your kids did what the brother's about to read about, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna read that again. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 15. 1 second. 1 John 3 and 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. Hating your brother, you don't even have to kill him. Just hating him is bad enough. You might as well kill him. Basically, if you hate your brother, it's just as bad as if you took the gun and you just did what you had to do with it, right? So I want to address this right quick, and then you got it. I've been kind of down lately. I guess this popped up for a reason. Glad to be a part of this up. And hey, that's how the Most High work, man. I'm gonna get a verse for you right quick. Lord willing, you still in here and you stand tuned, and then I'm gonna give it back to the brother. I want to get Proverbs because there's no such thing as coincidences in life. That's one thing we're gonna tell you, right? With the Most High, there are no coincidences. Ain't no, oh wow, that's just ain't no luck. Nah, the Most High does everything. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 9. It says, a man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. So just think, you was thinking to yourself, oh, I'm gonna get on YouTube. I don't know what you're finna watch. I'm finna watch NBA. I don't know. You devised in your mind to get on YouTube, but the Most High directed you right to this video. Think about that. You know? So, Lord willing that everybody, all four of the people that's watching right now live, and the people who's watching the replay, the run back later on in the future from now, remember this. I'm gonna read that again, and you got it. This Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directed his steps. Right. So you might have your idea of what you want to do, where you want to go, but the Most High is gonna move the chess pieces how you want it. And if He got you here listening to this word, hey, thank the Most High for that. You got it.
Come, all praise to the Most High, mighty precepts, man. But yeah, it is definitely of the Most High. Lord willing, you stay tuned, right? I got this precept in Matthew 10, and we got to think about it because Yahweh Shah, he read Genesis. He read about Joseph, knowing that he was going to be given up by his own people and be denied. Joseph was denied of his own brethren. Hamashiach was denied by his own brethren, man. His own people, right? And Yahweh Shah told his disciples, you know, the same thing will happen to them. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse, I'll start at 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves, right? Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Joseph was that sheep surrounded by wolves, man. Joseph was that sheep surrounded by wolves. They was bloodthirsty, man, ready to slay him, ready to do whatever to get rid of their own little brother. Read verse 17. It says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. I mean, the Lord is literally letting the disciples knows what is to come. I mean, if you read, read Acts, it starts to happen at the death of Hamashiach, man. They start to go through these things. We're going to go through these things. Joseph was literally going through it. Of what the righteous man is going to go through to receive everlasting life. Right? It says that he shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. Yes, we know it's other nations, but it's going to be your own brethren. It's going to be your own brothers. And you see blood brothers is Hawk and Joseph, man. No, this is madness. Now we got to get into the mind of Joseph, is where he at. At the moment, he just, he like, look, man, I'm trying to find out what this dream is. And I'm pretty sure he feel the spirit, but he not trying to think too much of it. You don't want to be too denial. I'm not saying that was Joseph, but you don't want to be denial. It can happen. Right, so let's go back to it. Genesis 37. Right in verse, I'd go down to verse 23. It says, and it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. So they end up putting, they took, that was the first thing they thinking about. When Jake don't like you and envious of you, he takes something that's very, very precious to you, and that's very comely, that you have on, the shoes or a damn chain. They quick to take it. They quick to took that coat of many colors, stripped them and put them in a pit, man. This is our people. If you got something nice on, Jake is that's the main thing he's gonna take. All right.
God, I mean, if this is not the Israelites, like, and then they say they stripped them, like Jacob say that no, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I strip you. Or if I see dude, I strip him. And they really, man, hey, Milwaukee, they known for that. So lucky my background is loud. Bear with me, father duties and all that. But hey, look, that's Jake. They stripped him and then threw him in the pit. Then they sat down to eat bread. They sat down and ate like ain't nothing just happened. What kind of conversation you think they was having? Like, you know what I'm saying? You just cast your own brother into a pit. Anything could happen to him. Hey, look, it wasn't no street lights back then. They didn't have what is that? What's that helicopter that come get you? The Flight for Life. They ain't had that.
Yeah.
It ain't no telling how big this pit was, man. It didn't say if it was Grand Canyon size. It didn't say if it was 3 feet. It just said a pit. And I don't remember him ever getting out on his own strength, so it couldn't have been that small. And they sat down and ate bread. But you got it. I just had it.
Yeah, that's madness, man. Brought that out. They sat down and ate bread as soon as they put him in a pit. That's Jake for you. They took what was precious on them, that was very beautiful to look at or wear. They took that, stripped them, put them in a pit. Had Jake do, put them in the trunk, and then they go out to eat and talk about what they did, man. Yeah, man, he was scared. He was confounded. He was scared. You know what I'm saying?
I told him when I catch him what it was.
Right. Yeah, he dreamed. And you never know when they stripped him, they probably saying, "Oh, you dreaming? This what the dream was? This was the dream." Jake got a lot of, Jake very he could think real quick when he doing something that he like to do.
Wise to do evil.
Wise to do evil, man. Let's get that through the spirit. Right? Let's get that. Isaiah chapter 1, man. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16. It says, "Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings before my eyes. Cease to do evil." Right? And ultimately, yes, this is a story about Joseph. But look at the other brothers. If you have that type of spirit, just because you haven't done it, but you are thinking that in your mind. You are thinking that with your sisters. Right? You got hatred towards your brother. You wondering why he's increasing so much. And you like, man, he ain't know nothing, man. You want to take his Bible. You want to take his notebook. Just petty, childish things. If you moving in that spirit, you need to repent. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the doings of your evil. Right? Put away the evil of your doings, Salakia. For from before my eyes, cease to do evil. It says, learn to do well. Right? Salakia, that ain't what I wanted. I think that was Jeremiah. Right. So I can't see what I wanted. Let me go to that. I'm gonna finish that out though through the spirit. It says, "Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil." Right. Got to cease to do evil, man. They didn't cease to do evil. They took heed of Satan in their mind, and they took action, man. Satan planted that seed, and they allowed it to grow. They water it to grow. Right, let's go to Jeremiah. I believe that was Jeremiah, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
4:22.
Yeah, Colin, I was just about to get to that. I'll praise to the Most High. Jeremiah 4 and verse 22. It says, "For my people is foolish. You're a foolish man to want to do something to your brother. He done nothing to you. You're a foolish woman to want to do something to your sister and she has done nothing to you. You know, you foolish. It says anger that rests in the bosom of a man and woman is foolish. You're a fool, right? It says, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are Sodom's children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil. They wise to do evil. Hey, Israel was wise to do evil, man. Now we worse now. We worse than our forefathers. We're worse than our forefathers, man. We doing more wickedness than we done in Rome. We doing more wickedness than we done in Egypt. The Lord had to call us heathens, man. We doing worse than the heathen. We doing worse than our forefathers. You gotta imagine that. There's no like much to say if you tell Israel that you're doing worse than your forefathers. You should automatically want to check yourself, check your spirit, right? Judah, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, Simeon, Levi were wise to do evil, you know, were wise to do evil. And Yahushua, hey, all the things that Joseph was going through, Yahushua went through it worse, you know, and we're going to go through it as well with our own brothers. It could be a brother that you really, really close to that's going to overthrow you, right? Let's get back to that. Genesis 37, verse 25. Let's read that again. It says, and they sat down to eat bread. That's like belly, man. They get to doing what they doing, and then they go to a Chinese restaurant. That's madness, bro. You got Jake. This is Chicago, brother. You know, brothers don't know DJ Nate. When he got robbed, he go out to eat. Dude go out to eat. Well, he just boasting. That's madness, man. You know, you go to Old Crunchy Buffet after you just stripped your own brother. Right? It says, and they sat down to eat bread, and they lift up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. So they thought that was better. They said, well, why would we slay him? I mean, what can we get from him? You know, what can we get from him? You know, I mean, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites, man. That's madness. This is a Judas spirit. Judas sold our king. And you have Israel selling Joseph. Right? That's in the book of Sirach. It literally tells you. Right, let's get that. Let's get that through the spirit. Right? Let's get that through the spirit. Let me see. That should be Sirach. Could be wrong through the spirit. That's Sirach 11. No, that ain't what I wanted. Man, you see Sirach 22. Right, Salakia. Right, Salakia. I'm trying to find this precept. Because it literally says, you know, roughly paraphrasing, don't sell your friend for gold. And it's literally what they was doing.
That's Sirach 7 and 18.
7 and 18. See that? I'll praise to the Most High. See that? Sirach 7 verse 18, the water. It says, change not a friend for any good by no means. It says, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. And Ophir, you can't find that. We don't know where that's at. We ain't gonna see that to the kingdom. You know. Yeah, free game, man. It says neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir, man. We don't know where that's at. We ain't gonna see that to the kingdom. This is literally what's going on in the ancient world of our forefathers. And you got Jake doing that today. Putting a bag over his brother's head. They put a bag over Joseph's head. That's literally what they did. That's evil, man. It said, "Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites." Right? Let's go back to it. Genesis 37:27. Right? It says, "Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content." It's madness. They made it seem like they was doing something right. They're so consumed, right, in that lust. They, oh no, this is our brother and our flesh. Let's not slay him. You know, let's let's sell him. Like that's something righteous. You know, Satan take control of your mind, and you start to take heed of everything that he puts in your mind. You start to move in the flesh. This is what you call moving in the flesh. You serving, the angels on the left hand side instead of the Lord. You got a precept. If you got it, you can bring it out.
I ain't got one right now. I'll let you know if I got one though.
Yeah, so that's madness, man. Right? We ain't gonna be too long-winded. Right, let's keep reading on. It says, "Then there passed by the Midianites merchant men, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt." Let's see how much that's cost. How much is 20 pieces of silver, man? Let's see that. You put a bag over your brother's head. That's madness. All right. It's $480. they they sold Joseph. It's not funny, but they sold Joseph for $480
for a PS5. You could buy it like.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. For $480, man, to the Ishmaelites, and they was content with this. This is what they thought about when they sat down and ate bread. That's madness, man. It's you're very evil to eat and not have a guilty conscience, right? We know when it says, "And they brought Joseph into Egypt," right? Verse 29. "And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes." Because obviously Reuben was like, "Hey man, don't do this." Jake spent that much on VIX on VC on 2K. Yeah. He spent that much on 2K. Rob a brother, take his bread, and use it on VC. Vanity. Right? Vanity. Right. So hey, Reuben was upset. But the thing is, you could have just, really stopped your brothers from doing it. But what can I say, man? It was all of the Most High. It was all of the Most High. You being the older brother, you could have got on it with all of them. But it's all of the Most High. Right? So I'm gonna drop down to verse 32. Right? I'm 31 actually, Salaki. It says, "And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood, wise to do evil." Right? "And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no." Madness. They went right up to their father, lying. Know what they did, right? It says, "And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat, and evil beasts have devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces, and Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And then look, read this. It says, and all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. That's madness. Then they went to comfort him, knowing what they did. That is evil, man. That's evil. Right? You got it.
You know what spirit that is? That's that spirit. I don't know how it was for y'all in high school, right? But every time we went to gym class, somebody's phone got stolen out their locker. And you know what everybody would do when they was like, hey, where my phone? They'll help them go look for that phone. Let you call the phone, it'll ring right in his front right pocket. But he gonna help you look for that phone. Tell me that's not the Israelites. They watched their daddy. Imagine if you thought your son was dead. You thought he's gone. You can imagine how distraught he was. He probably wasn't eating. He definitely wasn't sleeping right. And they know good and well. They didn't even have the decency to say, oh well, he got captured. He got he got kidnapped. They let their dad believe that, right? And I don't want to spoil the rest of the story for people who haven't been into it, but this is the Israelites. They sat there and comforted that man. You got to think they was probably rubbing his arm. It's okay, pops. Hey, Shema Wall, they was probably looking at each other like trying to hold in a laugh, like, because they know what happened. You got to think, hey, Judah kind of looking over at Issachar and Reuben. You know how that be when you be in class. You ain't supposed to be laughing. They probably making faces while Judah right there, Judah trying to seal his smile.
That's
just off, man. That's off. You got to really put the scriptures in perspective to understand. Right, like the brother said, that damn inside joke spirit on your own father, man. You got to do it.
On your own father, man. Hey, brother, bring it out, man. Man. Jake be doing that, man. He get his mama upset. And he got a smirk on his face. He got a smirk on his face, got his head down. That's off, It said, and all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And them knowing this, and they still lying, it's evil, man. And you don't want to have this spirit, because this spirit can hop on any one of us. We're not saying this ain't gonna happen to us. You can't say that, because if the Lord sent down the spirit, the Lord can have counsel in the third heavens and send down the spirit, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's your lot. When the Lord sent down that lion spirit on the prophets to deceive him, right? And look what happened. They couldn't do nothing about it. Let's get that. All right. So this can happen to any one of us. And if you do this, if you do have the spirit, you need to repent. We got to repent. We're going to fast, confess our sins. And we got Day of Atonement coming up. It's somebody right now that has evil in their hearts over their brother and their sister. They want to do things to them. They see something on Facebook, or they put in subliminal messages. Israel is very deep on subliminal messages. People like to do that, subliminal messages. Hey, that's why you don't need to be on social media. Right, so this First Kings, right? Salakia, chapter 21.
I got a precept after you.
Salakia, this First Kings chapter 22, verse 21. It says, and there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? Right? I want to jump up. I'm going to get to it. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. Right? This is counsel in the third heavens. And the sons of God came up to the Lord, right? Yeah, one said, I'm going to do this. One said, I'm going to do that. Then that lying spirit, the angel came up to him and said, I'm going to be a lying spirit, right? And let's see what the Lord say, right? It said, and he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so, right? It says, and now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets. When the Lord put a spirit on you, tell that spirit to go forth and do so. There's nothing you can do, right? And ultimately, too, not to be too long-winded, when the Lord sent down those quails, because Israel was complaining about eating flesh, the things that you lust after, the Lord would give it to you and have you kill yourself with that spirit that you have, right? Because you wanted it so bad. So you have a hatred in your heart, and you not repenting, confessing your faults, and you entertaining that spirit, the Lord would give it upon you, and now you doing things you would not ought to do, right? So we have to pray, for mercy and guidance, and a peace of mind, and talk about things, because they didn't express themselves to Joseph of why they was feeling that way. They just automatically just went forward with the evilness, man. They just took heed of those thoughts and those emotions. We can't take heed of our emotions. It's feelings that's not even of the Most High, right? But you gotta.
That was the I was gonna get the version of that precept in Second Chronicles, but I'm gonna get an account of Yahushua, right? Casting a spirit into something else. And that something else didn't get a choice, didn't get to sit there with Yahushua like, nah, like spirits don't come knock on your door and ask you like, hey, I'm an adultery spirit. Can I come in? Hey, I've been in the truth for a little minute now. It ain't never happened to me. I don't know about you. I don't know if you ever had, the lust spirit knock on your door and you kind of answer and they be like, hey, can I come in? And you like, nah, I'm cool. And they're like, all right, I'm gonna just go next door. That's not how spirits work. So let's read this. This is Mark chapter 5 and verse number, I'm starting at 8. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. So this is many spirits. And if you look up Legion, I believe that's like, 3,000, something like that. If you look up what a legion is back then in Roman times, that's thousands of spirits. Right? As a matter of fact, let's not even wing it. I'm going to look it up right quick. How many is a legion? It says a legion is 5,000 to 6,000 soldiers. So imagine you have 5,000 spirits on you. Good Lord, man. That's how many spirits this man had on him, 5,000 to 6,000. Let's keep reading. It says, verse 10, and he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, send us into the swine that we may enter into them. And forthwith Yahushua gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000 and were choked in the sea. I mean, did the pigs get a chance? Did the pigs get to sit down with Yahushua, you know what I'm saying, and get to have a round table? Did they have a Zoom call? Was it a group meeting? They called the whole family in the living room, sat them down. Right. So like, wrong comment. I mean, we got to really put this number in perspective. Imagine 5,000 scoffers that come. Imagine 5,000 people come up to you. You ain't no Israelite. That Bible, hey, that's the white man book. What else they say? Give me some.
King James is a white man.
King James is a white man. They're gonna tell you King James was a homo. They're gonna tell you what? They favorite one. Oh, they take stuff out of that Bible. Imagine 5,000 people all at once, because he had 5,000 spirits on him at one time, and all 5,000 of the spirits was so disgusting. They entered into the swine, and the swine, being as dirty as it is, did what it did. Right, and that shows you what kind of spirit it was. the same way that swine end up offing themselves or deleting themselves, right? Because we on YouTube, we got to be careful with our words. They deleted themselves. Hey, if you read Mark chapter 5, that man was on the way to deleting himself, right? But I'm gonna let the brother get back in there. You got it.
Khan, I'm gonna link that over to Luke chapter 11, verse 24, right? Because just knowing these spirits, you entertain that spirit, or you don't do nothing to quench that spirit. Yes, you will partake in those actions. This is Luke chapter 11, verse 24. When an unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none, right? Hey, you may deal with that spirit you think it's small and you think it's not too serious. It's gonna grow, right? And when it walking through dry places, it's gonna come right back. So just imagine his brothers, they was angry at him. They probably had a little time where they was all cool, but then that spirit comes right back. You know, that spirit come right back, or they mind just playing on the dream that he said, and they just thinking about how, you know, Israel, their father, just smiling his face, and they seeing the coat of many colors. They just envying, and they just freaking off through the spirit on the left hand side, man. Right? So it says, when an unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walking through dry places seeking rest. Because once that spirit out of you, he may act normal. You know, they was acting normal for a little bit of time, but it comes right back. And finding none, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out. So now it was gone, it comes back. Now that spirit is it's starting to ramp up now, man. Now Israel, you know, Judah, Issachar, and them, it went away, but it came right back, man. It came right back. Now they thinking of other things. Now they like, you know what? Let's slay him. You know what? No, let's not do that. Let's make it seem like he's been attacked by a beast. Every time when that spirit comes back, it brings other spirits. It says that when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished, because you haven't done nothing to, you know, you haven't had Yahweh Bashem your house. So if you have this spirit and you don't cast it away, and when you cast it away, you don't replace it with righteousness, you don't replace it with the words of the Lord, you don't do what you need to do to keep that spirit away, and you best believe it's going to sit real comfortable. Verse 26, then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself. And as you see, Israel end up selling their brother. It's 7 other spirits, and 7 is completion. 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there, and the last state of that man is worse than the first. It was worse. They put him in a pit and they sat down to eat. Then they comfort their father, man. And smirking whole time, they spirit, they mind is happy. That's off. You got Jake doing that. I killed his grandma. Yeah, you wanna do that? I'm gonna kill your grandma. Yeah, he love his grandma. That's evil, man. That's evil. You got Jake doing that. He love his grandma, man. He love his son. It's Issachar. Damn, they know you see movies like that. Damn, they niece, little cousin, they taking care of him, and they take him away and hew him down. Because that was, you know, the love of their life. And they envious of him because he's making so much money. He didn't want to do business with him because of the things that they do. And what they go right after. They go after what he loves the most. 7 other spirits, man. That's easy.
Even on paid in full, man. Hey, Uncle Ice, man, he done kidnapped his own nephew. Sent his finger in the mail.
Right.
To try to get a bag.
I forgot.
Think about that.
That's crazy. No, I forgot about that. He showed this, sent his finger in the mail. Man, that's wild. Right? That's evil, man. Hey, this is Israel. I mean, if you can't, if you say this ain't our forefathers, you're something wrong with you. Ultimately, you blind. And the Lord blind you on purpose. You know, everybody ain't got eyes to see and ears to hear anyway, you know, right? So all while he's going through this, while Joseph going through this, right? I don't know if brothers heard that, but I'm
Kyle, we did.
yeah, man, you know that damn the Mac, man. But yeah, so now while Joseph going through this, just imagine what he's thinking. He's enduring. This is when it comes to long suffering. He has no idea what is going on. He has no understanding what's going on, and this may happen to us. You get overtaken by your brethren. You're getting taken to the councils, the synagogues, right? By your own brother, and you don't know what's going on. But these things is written for our learning, right? Let me get First Thessalonians chapter 3. Right, it reads that no man should be moved by these afflictions. And we're going to read about how Joseph, did he move from these afflictions? Let's see if he moved from these afflictions. But the Lord is telling us that no man should be moved by these afflictions. For yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. We know that we are appointed thereunto, right? By the counsel of our forefathers, right? Our King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Hamashiach Yahushua. He told us these things was going to happen because it's going to happen to him. He said you're going to be delivered up for his name's sake, right? Read on, it says, for verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and you know, because you have these accounts, you know these same things that happened to Joseph, David, Peter, Paul, right? John the Baptist, you know. I was reading Joseph, these things are gonna happen to you. It's gonna happen to us. You're not gonna know when, right? You may know when, but you ain't gonna know the time. You can put it that way. You ain't gonna know the time, right? It says you know. You have these accounts. And if you don't know, you need to start reading before you get caught as a thief, right? So let's see if Joseph was moved by these afflictions, right? Let's get to it. If you got one, I a precept or anything. But hey, we going into the story of Joseph, man. When he got delivered up, when he was in prison, when he dealt with uh the wicked Egyptian that Eve, so-called Eve, you know. Hey man, we're gonna see how he moved through the spirit. Was he moved by these afflictions? Right? So I'm gonna go to not verse, but Genesis chapter 39, verse 1, right? It says, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. Hey, now, just imagine he's been taken captive, and he's getting shipped, right? This is like when Jake is on a bus on the way to prison, a crime that he did not do. But his brother delivered him up because he didn't want to get caught out there. He the one that did the crime. You know, just some evil, wicked things that goes on in the world. This is the drug he had. He had the drugs, man. But he said his brother had him. He the one that was selling them and things of that manner. Now he's on the way to prison and he on the bus. And he just thinking like, man, what the hell is going on? Right, you got it.
Hey, we had a situation over here in Milwaukee, right? Hold on, I need a second, son. We had a situation in Milwaukee. It's this Milwaukee rapper. I ain't gonna use no names, right? His case, basically, they went on a high speed together. They got all type of drugs in the car. Hey, dude jumped out the car in the middle of high speed, throw all the drugs back in the car on dude. Got him locked up. That man doing like 25 years right now. He ain't getting out to like 2047. Right? And the other dude out, he making music. He on Instagram flashing money. Right? What you got here?
That's off. That's what's going on. So we gotta put it, we gotta really be in Joseph's shoes, think through the spirit, put it in perspective. He's on a bus. We want to let on a bus, but he's on a bus on his way to the damn jail. And he's like, man, like, what's going on? Like, what am I doing? Because when we go through things, our mind is racing, Our mind is racing through the spirit. We're in the flesh. Joseph is in the flesh. So just imagine how he felt. Evil thoughts was probably trying to come up, but he probably was casting them down. And he didn't have the book of Sirach. He didn't have Proverbs. He didn't have Ecclesiastes. He didn't have these Bible verses. He didn't have these precepts, man. All he had was the fear of the Lord. And that's a cut, because we got too much going on now in 2025 AD. The things and the spirits that we deal with, this is a cut for all of us, man. Joseph only had the fear of the Lord. That's what helped him to go long distance, man, and to prosper, and to save Israel, most importantly, to save his family, right? Not to skip, but you got to imagine this though, right? So verse 2, it says, and the Lord was with Joseph, and he was prosperous, a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. It said the Lord was with Joseph. Now, you may have a time where you're in affliction, and you may not think that the Lord is with you. And if brothers seen a movie of Joseph, it's I think it's 2 movies of Joseph, 2 movies. And if you watch it, you see that while he was going through it, he always had courage in the Lord. He knew the Lord was with him at all times. And we have to read this because we really don't know what was in Joseph's mind, but he was in the flesh. We know what's in our mind because we're in the flesh when we're going through affliction. You're dealing something with your rib, you're dealing with trauma and demons in your mind, but you don't know what's going on, and you think the Most High ain't dealing with you. But no, as with Joseph going through these afflictions, it said the Lord was with Joseph. So the Lord knows what you're going through. You appointed for these things. You just read it in 1 Thessalonians 3:3. Joseph didn't have these precepts. All he had was the fear of the Lord, man. Right? Verse 3, it says, and his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. See that? And the Lord, Joseph's father was Jacob. So you got to imagine the counsel that he had, all the counsels that he got, all the edification that he got from his father, and all the things that he's been through, because his days was few and evil. They didn't have all these precepts. All they had was experience. Let's get that. Let's go. I think we right back in Sirach. See that? Right? Right back in Sirach. I believe that's right. Right. That's Sirach chapter 34 and verse 9. It said, a man that have traveled knowing many things, and he that have much experience would declare wisdom. Israel had much experience. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they had much experience. So that wisdom of the things that they've been through was through the roof. And then on top of that, them knowing the Lord, knowledge and wisdom and understanding that they got from the Lord, them being close to the Most High, they knew so much. And Joseph got that from his father, especially of him being basically the most favored. He was the youngest child. He was born in his old age. So our forefather, our grandfather Jacob, was telling him so much because he was always around him. He had him at an old age. So him knowing, I'm pretty sure his father was in his mind, because you got times your mama tell you something that you ain't got no business doing. You did it. Now your mama in the back of your head, your father in the back of your head, or you end up doing something, you like, dang, my mama did. Hey, it's times when I'm living this life as an adult, grown man, And sometimes my mom come to mind like, yeah, she did tell me this, man. Y'all see, I see. Y'all got to turn these lights off. And you start to think that. They wasn't saying this stuff for no reason, you know, because of experience, the things that they've been through, you know. So, hey, that's a cut for all of us, man. I'm cut. You know, that hurts. He didn't have that. We got too much going on. We spoiled, man. We
We
spoiled.
got a whole entire Bible.
We got a whole entire Bible. We got a whole entire Bible, man. Let's get back to it. Romans chapter 15, verse 4. We got a whole entire Bible, man, for us to deal with spirits, just taking heed to thoughts, and it's just madness, man. That we got all this knowledge and wisdom in our faces, and our forefathers didn't have that much. Joseph didn't have that much. He just had to fear the Lord and the things that Jacob told him, which is a lot, you know. This Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, and we through patience and comfort of the scriptures. Comfort of the scriptures. Joseph had comfort of the fear of the Lord, that he had faith in the Lord that he was with him. Jacob had faith in the Lord that he was with him. Abraham, Isaac, they had these things, right? You had our forefathers, you know, you had David. He had the law. He had the books of Moses. That's what he had. He didn't have Acts, Matthew, Luke, John. He didn't have First Peter. He didn't have none of these things. He didn't have Sirach. He read Joseph. And I'm pretty sure through the spirit, right? Through the spirit, he like, dang, Joseph didn't have this. I got the words of the Lord. He didn't have this. All our forefathers read Joseph and said the same thing through the spirit. If you got ears to hear. All right. This is confounding, you know. All right, let's go back to that. Genesis chapter 39, verse 3. It says, and his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hands. Now, this is like I say, this is the child of Israel. This is the child of Jacob. So all the knowledge and wisdom that he got, and he's seeing that he's prospering, best believe the Lord is popping in his head. Hey, this is the Most High. And you got us being in the flesh, we going through it. We may not have money. We may not have a house. We may be staying in our mother's house, father's house, but you still be able to have a roof over your head. You still be able to eat. You having a job, but you ain't got no car, but you got a job and still be able to make it to work. You saying that you still be able to prosper in certain areas, and you not thinking upon it like, oh, this is the Most High. Guarantee you, 10 times out of 10, Joseph knew that this is the Most High. My father did tell me this. You know, how his uncle was trying to was using him. How his uncle was being crafty, but his righteousness was able to succeed to, you know, be able to prosper, man. The Lord was with him. Hey, Joseph was thinking upon these things through the spirit. But us, we don't do that. We can't even count how many damn verses in this dang on Bible. We spoiled, man. The Lord put the spirit on man, King James, to grab and scholars, 70 scholars to collect and translate, collect the books and give it to us so we can learn and have comfort of the scriptures, man. This is confounding. This is unbelievable. And you got Jake out here moping in their spirit, man. You got Jake in here you got the Bible right here, the Bible next to him, and he daydreaming. And just Satan just plaguing his mind, just putting on top of women in his mind, putting on top of killing in his mind, putting on top of food in his mind. He just taking heed to it when you could literally go to the scriptures, man. You can go to Sirach. I'm going to say it again. It's too much game in Sirach. Joseph didn't have Sirach. Prepare thyself for temptation. Jacob had to say that to Joseph. And we say stuff, and the Lord say stuff to us, and we forget it. This is why we have a book to go back to it. You got it out.
And even speaking on that, what you said when Jacob is the one had to remind him, hey, Jacob wasn't no fool. You think he didn't know that his sons hated Joseph? Like, you think it was a secret? Like, you think you got to think this the Israelites. Bro. This is Jacob. This is the same one that wrestled with an angel. This is the same one who was deceived by his own brother and by his wife's father. Right? Jacob was no stranger to getting snaked out. You think he couldn't see he raised all these little boys. You think he didn't know? Oh yeah. Hey, even now, people will tell you, hey, every kid is different. Certain kids, no, you gotta watch him. Certain ones, no, they good. She good. As long as you keep her X, Y, and Z, she good. But this one, him, nah, you gotta watch. You think he didn't know his kids? Right? Hey, even when they was going through the dreams, even Joseph was kind of like questioning it, or Jacob was kind of questioning the dream, but then it said he held it in his heart. Let me get that. This is Genesis 37 and verse 10. We're gonna get to the point. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. Right? So he checked them, but he was kind of sitting back like, hold on. Because Jacob wasn't no fool. We knew the Most High. Even though that human part of him, he was like, hold on, you telling me, imagine your son telling me, yeah, my dad and my mom and my brothers, they gonna all bow down to me. You'll be looking at your son like, hey, hold up, bro. What you talking about? Right. But he still had enough knowledge of the Most High. It said he observed the saying, right? He sat back and thought about it. So my whole point was, hey, Jacob was no fool. You know what I'm saying? He knew how his sons felt about it. This is his favorite son. You think about Jake now. You be at work, you ain't doing nothing, you minding your business. You'll catch somebody kind of mugging you. Don't let you have a better car than Jake. They all in traffic, they looking over. You could be tinted 5%. They staring straight through the tents like they can see you. Right? Jake ain't never been able to just hide his envy. Saul didn't hide his envy from David. Right? Saul was so mad, you know, that it said his servants could see the evil spirit on him. That's how bad it was. So when we talking about evil spirits, whether it's on the Israelites, like we talking about right now, the first 12 Israelites, by the way, hey, it was no different. There's nothing new under the sun. What you got, Ox?
Con, that's a mighty point. Ain't nothing new under the sun, man. You got Jake just sitting there in his thoughts, sitting there just dealing with spirits. He going through it. You got the Bible in your face right next to you. You know the name of the Lord. You can call upon him immediately. And it's crazy because the Lord just sitting there looking at you too. The Lord just watching you. Just seeing how you going to move. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Is he going to call me? I want to talk to me, but let's see. And you just sitting there, just moping, just letting Satan just play with your mind, right? And really, you're being idle because you're not doing anything. You're not calling upon the Lord. You're not at least look at a precept. You ain't even thinking about no precept, but you know so many precepts when you go to camp. You know so many precepts when somebody asks you a question. But when you come to be, let's just bring out the precepts, right? It's madness, man. Joseph only had the fear of the Lord. This Sirach chapter 34, verse 13. It said, the spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live. And we seen through the accounts of our forefathers, they live. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live. And we have the spirit of those, Joseph, David, Paul, Matthew, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, many other our forefathers, man. Hey, we will live, right? Yahushua, you will live. You will not die, right? It says, for their hope is in him that saveth them, right? And we reading about Joseph, his hope was there. You read it through the spirit, his hope was there. You don't hear he was crying and moping and he just played the game. That's what Jake do, man. Get on the game. Look at a precept, brother. Go meditate. Call a brother. And a precept that he brought out to you, go through them. You know, you'll just forget about it. Jacob told Joseph these things, and he remembered it. How we know he remembered it? When you read it through the spirit of the accounts. He kept it in his mind, right? It says, whoso feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for he is his hope, right? It said the Lord is his hope, man, right? So let's get back to it, man. It's confounding, right? Matter of fact, let's get Job through the spirit, because that was the Lord had that on my mind. Let's go to Job. You know, we know all these mighty precepts, but when it comes to the time where you dealing with something, you're not going through these things yourself. Our forefathers, Joseph didn't have precepts. He didn't have books. He had to fear the Lord, right? This is Job.
Was writing even invented yet back then?
You wrote, but it wasn't on. I don't want to.
Yeah, it was like on cave drawings.
Yeah,
rocks and stuff like that, right?
Clay, you know, it was on clay and stuff like that, clay leather and stuff like that, you know. So it's, man, we got to really think about this. If this not having you to think like, dang, this should have you think about all the things, the times where you was just down in the spirit and you didn't even look at your Bible. You may call the brother, but you and her precepts, but you didn't go through them. All the breakdowns that you got. It's really not for you to edify the sheep. Yeah, to edify the sheep. But how profitable you are if you're not teaching yourself. This Job chapter 4, verse 3, it says, behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Right? Yeah, you instructed many. You strengthen the weak hands. But let's see when it's time for when you're weak, when you need strength. Verse 4, thy words have upholden him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee. So now it's come upon you. And what? And thou faintest. You faint. Yeah, you may not give up your fringes. You may not break the Shabbat. You may not just eat a pork chop. You may not just go and freak off, but you somewhat faint because you literally just let Satan just plague your mind, just dance around your mind. He just in your temple with just a big glass of yan and a huge backwood, and he just having fun. It's just a whole kickback for the free. Everybody get in for free. Nothing but spirits just dancing in your mind, and you just sitting there, just letting him do whatever he want to do. When you literally have counts of our forefathers and precepts that literally strengthen you. You low-key fainted, man. Right? It reads, right? It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thy fear and thy confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? So all these things that you know, why you ain't applying it? Joseph didn't have that much. You got people. All right, let's get back to Sirach. You got Salakia. You got folks out here that's in the truth that don't have that much understanding, but how they last along? Because the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord. They may not know certain things, but the fear of the Lord, that faith in the Lord is what having to go through. You know. I'm married to somebody like that, man. You know, that's a beautiful thing. Just to have a faith and a fear of the Lord, and you lasting for years. That's how far the fear of the Lord can take you. That increase your endurance, your faith in the fear of the Most High. It's not but just knowledge, man. Right? It's a precept that came to mind through the Spirit. Lord, when it come back. But I'm gonna read that again. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and uprightness of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish, being innocent, right? We sit on that. But hey, Joseph didn't have that much, man. You know, and you just mope and just sit in that spirit, right? It's crazy. Right? Let's get that, man. Sirach chapter 2. You know. Yeah, that's what I wanted. See that? All praise to the Most High. Sirach chapter 19, verse 24. And when I bring this out, it's not saying that Joseph didn't have a lot of understanding. He didn't have that much understanding. No, that's not what I'm saying. Just for people who like to put words in people's mouth and, you know, just wickedness. You just wickedness, man. This Sirach chapter 19, verse 24. He that have small understanding and feareth Yahweh is better than one that have much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. So somebody that fear the Lord, that has small understanding, is better than one that have much wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Because it's somebody out there that they know everything. I mean, you would think they so close to the Most High. They know the dark parables. They know the prophecies. They know the similitudes. But they transgressing the Most High. You transgressing the Most High, that means that you don't even fear the Lord. That's off. You eating your family's cooking, but you don't actually love them. You don't actually keep the laws of the household of what they put out there. You just love what they cook. You just love what they buy you. That's off. The fear of the Lord would take you far, man. The elect is not just gonna have, let's get that, Revelation 12. The elect is not just you knowing everything. That's not the attributes of the elect, man. They have to fear the Lord. They endure. They have faith. You just because you know everything don't mean you the elect, man. Just because you, oh yeah, I got the, yeah. I remember Daniel chapter 7, the breakdown of Daniel chapter 11. Oh yeah. Second Esdras 12. Oh yeah, I know that by heart, man. I'm not elect. But you can't, but as soon as you dealing with lust, brother, you breaking up, Ak, you breaking up.
So like I was gonna say, the Bible say, hey, the devils know that it's one Lord and they tremble too. Hey, if you read Matthew 4, Satan is quoting the Bible to Yahweh Shah. We're not gonna say he getting the kingdom, are we? You know? So hey.
Con. See, these the left angels on the left hand side, they know the Bible too. So what makes you think you the elect? You know, the elect is what they're gonna deny. They're gonna have fruits of the Spirit, right? They're gonna have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. They're gonna fear the Lord. They're gonna deny their flesh, man. They're not gonna serve the spiritual demon. Say they're not gonna serve this world. Right? They're not gonna just bow down to them spirits, man. That's, man, you going through affliction and you just, it is what it is, man. Got that? It is what it is, spirit. You know, you ain't got that. I'm gonna deal with it, man. Yahweh Shah dealt with it. I'm gonna deal with it. You know, have some courage in the Lord, man. Have some courage in yourself, right? This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. I'm gonna start at verse 10. Right? I'm gonna start at verse 11. Why not? It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. They didn't love their lives, man. They didn't love the thoughts they was taking heed to and entertaining emotions and just dwelling in you just dwelling in sorrow and you're going through hell and you just moping. It's okay to cry. We're not saying you just hold your tears in. No, it's okay to cry. Yahweh Shah wept. David wept, man. Pretty sure Joseph probably, shed some tears. But what, did that take away him crying, take away the fear of the Most High, the faith in the Lord, have courage in it? No, it didn't. Whole time he was getting strengthened through the Spirit. So the elect is not just going to know all the prophecies and everything. It's because they denied themselves. They endured until the end. Joseph endured until the end. So let's get that, right? Genesis chapter 39, not to be too long-winded, just for the sake of time. Genesis chapter 39. But y'all get it, man. Genesis chapter 39. We can go to verse, right? Let's see what we get, right? Right. Go to the right, Joseph 39. Let's see what we want. Let's get to it. We'll keep reading on, right? Verse 4, it says, and Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had, he put into his hand. Right. So he was prospering, man. And the point I brought out, when Joseph was prospering, he seen the little things he was prospering in, and that's what we have to remember. Man, that's the Most High, man. Enjoy the little things, man. Think about the little things the Lord put in your life. Don't forget about the Lord's right hand. Because soon as you forget the Lord's right hand, you're going to go deeper and deeper into that pit that Joseph was in. And you ain't going to come out. Joseph got out, but you ain't going to come out. Satan is going to continue to just keep shoving you down now every single time. He just, every time you get your head out, he put you down. You drowning. How damn Yahweh left up Peter out of the sea, you know what I'm saying? But you just soaking in your problems. Hey, he drown you like a damn kangaroo. Satan just right? Just drowning you, man. That's all. That's madness, man. So you got to think about the little things, man. Right? You starting to prosper, man. The Lord blessed you with a wife. Lord blessed you with a son. Your car broke down. The Lord blessed you with that part. You could be able to get it fixed. Gave you a mobile mechanic. You got your lights on. Hey, I know a story. A brother, we not to be long with Salakia. This is spirit. A brother didn't know how he was going to pay his light bill. But he had faith in the Lord. He didn't know he had faith in the Lord. Guess what? His light bill was paid. He don't even know how it was paid. True story. Right? True story. That's beautiful, man. Hey, think about the little things, what the Lord is doing for you. Right? Verse 5, it says, and it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptians' house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. Right? Drop down to verse 7. Right? And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Now, everybody know this account. As he's prospering, he just went through hell. You prospered in your life. Just put this in your be in the shoes. You doing your thing, you was in hell. The Lord got you out of it. You doing your thing. Then you get into another situation. Get into another temptation. Right? Now you're in another problem. How would you feel? Verse 8, but he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wanteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High? And I'm going to say it again. He only had the fear of the Lord. He wasn't thinking about Sirach chapter 2. He wasn't thinking about Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23 on down. He wasn't thinking about Proverbs chapter 5, verse 19. He wasn't thinking about these things, Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. You know what I'm saying? We weren't thinking about. He didn't have these. He didn't have these precepts, man. Colossians chapter 3, verse 2. Colossians chapter 3. Hey, man, he wasn't thinking about these things, right? But you got to
Think about it like this. Joseph didn't have a Joseph to read about.
right.
I mean, where's the other account before this where he got to look at somebody that the Most High was dealing with, like, oh, okay, so when she come at me next time, all right, I'm gonna say what that one brother said. Hey, it didn't happen. Yeah. He straight up had, like the brother keep reiterating, just off the fear of the Lord. And you got to put this in perspective. You think that woman was ugly? You think a man that great would have a Ugg mug walking around the house? You got to understand, we talking about the heathen here, right? The heathen, everything is carnal to them. Even nowadays, what they got, beauty pageants, Miss Wisconsin, Mrs. Florida, you know what I'm saying? Lady Virginia, whatever it is, y'all know what I mean. We was just talking about nothing new under the sun. Hey, you got to think. Imagine how many brothers can have. What's brothers' celebrity crush nowadays? I don't be paying attention.
Megan Good, Lauren.
I'm gonna use Meg the Stallion. Jake, how many of y'all can have Meg the Stallion in front of you? Because you got to think, she didn't just say it. She probably had something nice. She probably had that look in her eye. Probably had the candles lit. She probably was plotting. You got to understand. She watching this man come up. She's seeing his hustle. She's seeing the Most High with him. Right? And I don't want to spoil it because the brother's going to get into it. But hey, she was persistent through the spirit. Right? Not through the spirit, but y'all know what I mean. You got it.
Come. Oh yeah, he breaking it out. She wasn't just average. She wasn't just average, man. And Jake, you be in this situation, you a fool. And you know so many precepts. You know. And this also means just to check yourself. Pay attention to how did Joseph move. How did he move through affliction? He kept the courage in the Lord, right? He, through the, through the spirit, he thought about, all the things his father told him. Because his father had much experience, man. Jacob been through a lot. And the knowledge that Jacob got from Isaac, and the knowledge that Isaac got from Abraham, his father. Imagine that, And Joseph hold on to that. When we have struggling, holding on to one precept, actually applying it to your life. Hey, this is a cut. This is a dagger, man. This is an arrow through the head. Literally, So let's read that again. Right, verse 9. There is none greater in this house than I. Neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High? You know what this sound like? History of Susanna. And let's get that account. Lord willing, we can go to that account as well, breaking down her, so-called movie through the spirit.
Oh, for sure. We got to get into Susanna.
Yes, we definitely do. Right? Right. So this history of Susanna. Right? There's no chapter, but verse. Right? It's just one quick book through the spirit. Verse, we can start at verse 20. It says, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us. And we are in love with thee, therefore consent unto us and lie with us. Long story short, this is two elders, freaky two elders of Israel. They lawyers, and a lawyer is being a judge of the law. So people take heed to elders is a huge thing. If you're an elder, best believe the congregation is coming up to you. You're an elder. Elders hold up very much status. It's there a lot of status in that through the spirit, right? So these elders were freaking off. They want to lay down to it, not don't want to butcher it for people who haven't read, but you need to get into it, right? So verse 21, it says, if thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee. So they lying on her, elders lying on her. Verse 22, then Susanna signed and said, I am straitened on every side. For if I do this thing, it is death unto me. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. So she's trapped. This how you be trapped in that spirit, so-called trapped in that spirit, because the Lord make a way for you to escape. You can get out, call upon his name, fast, call a brother. We have this. This is the most famous, the famous book of all time. Most selling. They want to ban this Bible, man. They're gonna ban it. I believe it's banned in was it Jamaica? It's banned somewhere, or UK, something. I don't want to butcher it, man. It's banned somewhere, right? I'm gonna have to look that up through the spirit. Hold on. All right. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. All praise to the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. Right. So, yeah, it's not banned yet, but it's definitely restrictions in certain countries due to censorship or religious restrictions. That's madness, right? But they will be banning the Bible. I know they're gonna be. It's not fully, but they're gonna be. Whoever buys a Bible, I don't want to butcher it, man, because if you buy a Bible on Amazon, they're gonna get up with you. I'm just leave it that, right? So you may be trapped. She was trapped, man. Susanna was trapped, right? Verse 23. Let's see what she said. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord. That's the same spirit of Joseph. Hey, you sisters, man, this for you too. You know, we understand you the weaker vessel, but you have your mighty foremothers, Judith, Susanna, right? You know, you have Mary. You know, you have Hannah. She couldn't bear children, but she cried unto the Lord, and she had faith, and she vowed a vow to have faith into the Lord. And look what happened. You know, she ended up bearing that child. You don't want to just sit and just happen Satan go into your mind and you just dwelling all quiet, and you know, that's madness. You just being stuck in you just being stuck. You surrounded by demons, and the Lord gave you a way to escape. But this is the same spirit of Joseph, man. Right? Let's go back to it. Genesis 39:9. Right? It says, there is none greater in this house than I, neither had he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, because these spirits is they're not gonna play with you. You increasing, they're not gonna play with you. They gonna turn, the Lord gonna turn up the heat, man. He gonna blast that thing, right? Day by day. It says she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. That's just by the fear of the Most High. How many times you kept a spirit kept messing with you, and you kept saying no, then you say yeah, then you say no, then you say yeah, then you say no, I can't do it no more. Then a couple days later, it's almost close to the Sabbath. Then you say yeah, and now you jammed up, man. How many times you did that? But it said day by day, he consistently had to say no, just by the fear of the Most High, right? If you got a precept out, you can bring it out after I bring this out. This Proverbs chapter 8. Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 13. It says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. The fear of the Most High is to hate evil. Joseph knew this was evil. You are a married woman. I'm not about to commit adultery. Right? That's what Joseph, I'm not about to commit. Hey, he gave me all this. The Lord just blessed me, putting the spirit on the heathen to do this to me. He gave me everything but you. I'm not finna sin against the, I'm not finna commit adultery. That's madness. It says the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Joseph hated evil, pride and arrogancy in the evil way. In the foremouth do I hate. When you fear the Lord, you got to hate the things the Lord hates. Do you hate the things the Lord hates? You got to examine yourself with that. So day by day, Joseph denied her. And we got to ask ourselves, day by day, do we deny a certain spirit? Do we deny that anger spirit? Do we deny that lust spirit, the sexual lust? Do we deny that? Do we deny the glutton spirit? All you do is eat snacks every damn day, fast food. You haven't ate fruit in 2 years. God forbid. All you do is gluttoning out the cookies and damn just pastries all the damn time. You gotta examine yourself. Do you consistently deny off the fear of the Lord damn envy and shoes and things that's esteemed in this world? Do you deny it day by day? Because the elect, they deny themselves. They love not their lives. It's not because they literally know every single precept, and they know verbatim what the Lord said, but they don't know, they not applying it, So we got to ask ourselves this, not to be long-winded, due to the sake of time. We're going to keep, Lord willing, we continue to go on with Joseph, but this is a beautiful account. All our forefathers had beautiful accounts. Even this is nothing but wickedness, because we have to learn from these things and not to apply in our life for the things that they done on the left-hand side, and our forefathers, what they did on the right-hand side, we have to apply it to our life, So Most High willingness was edifying, right? So I'm going to read verse 10 again. It says, and it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. How many times you deny that spirit, to not lie with it, to not be by her, and not to listen to her? Because ultimately the Lord compared that seducing spirit and things of Babylon to a woman, right? So all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Lord willing, Yasharallah was edified, and continue to deny that spirit, man. Right? But I deal with that.
Hey, Lord willing, we can go into part 3 next week, next video for sure. If being the Lord will, we gonna get into this third and final part of Joseph, man, because it's just not getting good, But all praise to the Most High for another mighty video. The Lord willing, everybody was edified. I want to say Kwam Yasharallah and Shalom.
Shalom.